This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys, let us start the today's session. So, in the today's session, what we will be discussing, we'll try to continue forward by discussing the concepts where we have left yesterday. In the module section, we have seen the two different identification methods, like one is identify by properties and then identify by anchor. So, then we will be proceeding further in understanding and knowing what is this identify by index and all these things in this today's class, and we'll try to complete the modules in this today's class. It doesn't take much time, 15 to 20 minutes of the time it will be taking on this index and image. So let me increase the font size for your convenience. Okay, so what I'll be doing is today we will be discussing about the identify by index. Okay, now when I talk something about the identify by index, so in the order or the in the hierarchy which we have already discussed, it is present at the third place. Last but one of the last place, because this doesn't have the highest priority. The identify by properties and the identify by anchor comes at the top two, and the most important and the hierarchy we need to be following. And there might be few situations where we need to use the index. So first of all, can anyone tell me what is this index basically? What do you mean by index? Normal English terminology. At least have you heard this word called index?
Yes, sir.
So what do you guys mean by this index basically?
For reference, we can use it.
With the reference you use it. Yeah, almost we can relate this answer. Let me also tell you. So first of all, what is this index in a normal terminology which we speak on daily basis is, so basically why we need to use this index for a reference, to understand it clearly, to know at which position it has, to be even if we are using for reference. So I'm not saying that it is a wrong answer. See, you told that we use the index for reference. What for we are referring? We are referring for an exact position. If you take an book or a soft copy of any material, first of all, we'll go through the index to identify. So you are using index as a reference. For what you are using this as a reference? To identify the position or the place or the order of the particular uh, concept or a particular topic in a complete book, right? So, in the same way, it is exactly defining or talking something about the position or an order or a numbering position of a particular concept. In the same way, when I try to correlate the same concept, now why I need to use this index identification method in Tosca is, first of all, I'll tell you a small. For suppose, let us say there are multiple controls with the same properties. All the properties are same. Are you getting my point? For suppose, assume that if there are multiple controls in the application which is containing the same properties like class name, ID, inner text, outer text, everything is same. There is no difference between these two controls, right? In that kind of situation, what you need to do, as you know that whenever we are trying to scan a module by scanning the application, what we'll do first, we'll go for properties. You have gone for the properties, you have identified two controls, but both the controls are having the same properties. They're not having any changes even in the application visualization point of view and even in the technical properties point of view. Then what can we do in that kind of situation is, as the properties are not working, either we can move to the anchor identification method. But what if you do that, even if you want to consider there is no proper anchor, there is no proper control or a support reference in order to consider for this kind of particular control, that one, what we will be doing, then we will be coming to this index identification method. You need to see first, you searched for a properties, you came to know that all the properties are same, then you will go for an anchor, but you identified that the anchor means what, support or a reference. So you need to take any controls help or a support in order to identify this control as a unique. But what is happening in your situation is whatever the control that you are planning to take help, that is not stable. I mean, it might change, which is prone to change. Then you can't consider that particular control, right? So then what is the situation that you will be doing in order to identify it as a unique? Then you will be coming to this index identification method. So now is it clear when we will be coming to this index identification method? When there are multiple controls or an elements with the same properties, then I can't use the properties, and even if to use the anchor as a reference, I can't use it because it is not that stable enough. So then I will be coming to the index position. So based upon the position or based upon the place or a number, where it is located, I will try to identify the controls uniquely by using index identification method. Is this clear?
Yes,
Sir.
Madam.
So what I'll do is I'll just open our application and I'll try to show you with an example. So I'm just opening this Tosta and again I'm scanning normally a module. Same thing. Scan the application. I'm just clicking on scan. So now we have the basically one second guys, just give me a second. Now basically you have this scan window we have to open. Now first of all, before showing you how do we scan, I will show you an example. So now can you see here, for example, let us say there are few products on my home page. Are you getting my point? There are few products, like different products like laptop, gift card, and desktop, computer. There are different products in my home page, and I want to add to cart. I want them by adding them to the cart. So what I need to do if I want to add to cart, basically what should I do? I need to identify them, right? So what I'll do is I'll just click select on screen and I'm trying to identify the controls. Now I want to identify this add to cart. So I just clicked this. I want to add this product to the cart. I clicked this. In a similar way, again I'm adding this product to the cart. Same way, I'm just trying to add all the products to the cart. I have identified them. My job is done. Identifying all these controls by scanning the application is done. And again, I'm disabling my select on screen. I'm back to my normal position. Now, once I have identified this, now you are able to see there are multiple controls, first of all, with the same name. You could see that the controls are having the same name. So what you will do, you will first go for checking the properties. Check the properties, checked is equal to false. There is one class name, there is no ID, there is no inner HTML, there is no inner text, there is no name, there is no outer text, there is no title. What do you have then? Only one class name. You use that, it is not becoming unique. You use type, not becoming unique. Means whatever the properties are there, most probably you have used each and everything, right? And first of all, come to the second control. The properties will be the same. Checked equal to false. Class name button to product box. Same thing. Check the last one. Class name. Same thing. Whatever. That's what I told you. When there are multiple controls in an application containing the same technical properties, and even after using these properties, if these controls are not becoming unique, then what I need to do? I need to go to the anchor. So how do I do by anchor? Basically, I need to take the help or reference of another control. So now in order to identify this add to cart as a unique, whose help I can take? Probably I can take the help because this add to cart belongs to this gift card. So I can take help of only this gift card, right? I can't, means I can take help of some other thing also, but I can't click on this add to cart, whatever the product is there. Correct? Are you understanding my point? So I can take help of any other control which is stable. You can ask me, Madhav, then can we take help of a register control, login controls, right? You can take, but that is not a problem. It will become unique. but you need to be very precise enough, right? There is a this add to cart button is specifically given by Tricentis only to us if you want to add this gift card only to the cart, right? If the image is not there, or if the name of the description is not there, will you add this product to the cart? No, right? It's a normal thing. Even if you do in an Amazon or a Flipkart or a Myntra, whenever we all purchase the products from online, right? When we want to purchase something, first of all, what we'll do, we'll try to have a look into the image, right? See all the possible images over there, then get the specifications done, then see the reviews, then compare with some other product, and then we will add to that. But the first thing itself, if that is not available, will we go to that kind of products? No. So this add to cart is belonging to this gift card. So if I take the help, I can take only the help of this gift card, but I can take the help. Now, if I want to show you, I can show you. Let me show you. What I'll do is identify by anchor. Now, what they're saying, select on screen, right? I'm just using select on screen. See, here my select on screen was there. I'm just selecting on screen and I am identifying this. See here, I'm using this gift card and again disabling this select on screen. Now, what is happening? Can you see? Even after using this image, in order to identify, to take as a reference or a support for this, still it is not becoming unique, right? Then I can take, how can I remove this anchor? For suppose whatever the anchor that you have added, if you want to remove that, just give a right click on this anchor control. You could see jump to sorry, anchor and remove anchor. See, you can just remove this anchor. So now what can I do? Can I take the help of some other thing? I'll just try to minimize this. Okay, now let me tell you something. Okay, where is this here? Yeah. Now, image also not working. There is something called description. $25 virtual gift card. I'm just clicking select on screen and I am using this $25 virtual gift card as a reference or a support in order to identify this add to cart. I just clicked this, selected and again disabling. Now, can you see what has happened? It has become unique. Absolutely fine. You have identified this add to cart with an anchor. What control you have taken as a help or a reference in order to identify this control as a reference? $25 virtual gift card. But I'll tell you something. See this today, as I told you, you can use the anchor if it is proper. But even consider that the anchor is also not stable. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So what I was saying is, so if the properties are not working, then actually you can go to the anchor identification method. But even in the anchor identification method, this image is not helping me. It is not becoming unique. So okay, then I went for another thing. What is another thing that I have gone for? $25 virtual gift card. So with this, I have made my add to cart as a unique. It has become unique. It turns into a white color. Basically, what is my ultimate and final intention? I need to make the control as a unique. But you should also see whether this will be stable enough, correct? Right? Whatever we are developing, whatever we are identifying, that should be stable, right? You can't keep on reworking on the same thing day by day basis or on a weekly basis. So what you need to do, this $25 virtual gift card, basically, is it a stable thing? No, right? It might change at any point of time. Today it might be $25, tomorrow it might be $35, or day after tomorrow during the offers or a flash sale. What happens? The price might also get changed, right? It might become the $10 only after discount. So, and even the product companies, what they do sometimes they will also change the naming convention. Today it is a virtual gift card. Tomorrow it is an online virtual gift card. I mean, I'm just saying the probability of getting changed. The probability of for this control getting changed is frequency is very high. So what happens if it is getting changed? Whose support I have taken, that is only if it is getting changed, my control will be lost, right? It can't work. Then what is the next probable option? Properties are not working, anchor. Then can you take the help of a $25? I mean the price here. No, this also will get changed if something is changing. So I can't take help with a nearby control as a reference or a support. Then probably what I'll be need to do is I need to go for index identification method. What is this index identification method is? I'll show you. I'll just click on this identify by index. If you see identify by index, you can see here what is the description they have given. Can someone read this description?
Use the index only if you cannot choose other identification criteria to uniquely identify the control. Any matching controls are constrained by previously defined criteria before the index is applied. This increases the stability of the index.
So what it is saying, Tosca itself is saying, do not use index until and unless you do not identify any controls uniquely with any other identification methods. It is only saying, come to index identification method only if you are unable to identify and make a control unique with other identification methods, right? Means it is itself saying that it is having the least priority, least hierarchy. So the success rate for this index is very less, because even that, see, now I am saying that based upon the position and the number, I am trying to identify a control. What if the position of this is also changing? Today it might be at the first position, so I identified that it became unique. Tomorrow, what if the same thing has changed to fourth position? Correct, right? It might happen, right? Today, the gift card might be at the first position. Tomorrow, the gift card product might go to the sixth position. What can I do? Then I want to click on a add to cart only for a gift card. But will it click there? No. It will click only on the first add to cart button. But the product has gone to the sixth page, sixth place. So there are multiple issues with this index identification method also. So that's what they are saying. How do you identify? Now, can you see index? They have given position 1 of 6. This add to cart is present at the position 1 of total 6 positions. Can you see in the application? Totally, how many add to carts were there? Total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and out of this is the add to cart which is present at the first place. So that is what itself is saying. I am identifying this with the position. So can you see hash symbol, which is using the index. This uses a constraint index, means specifically you are constraining, specifically you are restricting this application control to identify only at this position. I'll give you a small example. Let us consider that all we 15 to 16 people are present in a conference room, right? If it in a conference room, we are having some probability of discussion, then I will ask someone to please switch on the fan. So what you basically ask me a question, right? Which fan should I switch on? Basically, there might be 10 to 12 fans in a room, in a conference room, and all the fans are from the same company, same make, same color, same properties, and everything. And if I ask someone to please switch on the fan, it might be a fan which is present near me, or it might be a fan which might be present near the participants who are sitting opposite to the players. So there is a probability that you cannot understand when there are same things in front of you. So what you need to do, you need to precisely call them out based upon a position, right? So I'll say clearly that can you please switch on the fan which is present at the last or the last but one, or can you please switch on the third fan or a fourth fan? Means I'm trying to identify a particular object based upon its position. So that is what same thing I'm also doing here in the controls as well. If they are not happening clearly, so based upon their position, can you see this? This add to cart position is present at the second position out of total 6 positions, and this add to cart button is at the 3rd position. This one is at the 4th. This one is at the 5th position, and this add to cart button is at the 6th position. Now see, whenever you use index identification method, you could see the hash symbol means you have used properties, and then you have used index identification method. If you use anchor, you will see something like triangle symbol over here. Means now you have identified the controls uniquely with the help of this index identification method. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm just trying to close this XScan window. After closing this XScan window, I could see a module getting created, and see the name of a module is also created as demo workshop pipe symbol identify by index. So I have given identify by index. Now let me check the properties for this particular controls. See, add to cart. What are the properties that I have used? Can you see here? I have used class name, I have used tag, type, value. Everything I have used means these are the technical properties. This which are in the sky blue color. But is it of a use? No use. Then what I have done? There is one property called constraint index. Please remember, yesterday for an anchor identification method, you will be able to see a I mean, for example, okay, you will be able to see a property called relative ID. Whenever you see any attribute with a property relative ID, it is an identify by anchor. Whenever you see any attribute with a property constraint index, then it means that you have identified this particular control based upon the index identification method, right? If you use only properties, now see identify by properties, these are identified by properties, right? Class name, inner text, outer text, and tag. Only these properties are there. There is no relative ID anywhere. There is no constraint index anywhere. In addition to these properties, if you see any property having any attribute having the relative ID, it is identified by anchor. And if you see any attribute in a module having a property constraint index, then it means that you are going to use this index identification method. It is showing you the position also. This add to cart is present at the 3rd position. This add to cart is present at the 5th position. This add to cart is present at the 1st position. Constraint index and its position where exactly it is present. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes,
Any
Madhav.
doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, Madhav.
Okay, fine. Now I'll tell you a small thing. As I told you, a small example. For suppose today you have identified an add to cart which is for this gift card. See, you have today identified only on the based upon their position. You have not restricted them clearly. Today the gift card might be at the 1st place. Tomorrow the gift card might move to the 4th place. But you got a requirement saying that you need to add only the gift card to the cart. But today your Tosca knows the gift card is at the 1st position, so you will be directly clicking this add to cart which is present at the 1st position. But after few days, if it is changing to 4th, will your test case work? Obviously, it will not work because today you have clicked on add to cart which is present at the 1st position. Then tomorrow, if it is at the 4th position, how it will work? It won't work. Then how do you mitigate the change even in this index kind of position? Actually, it is very simple. Even if the changes are happening, just go here and change the whatever value you want. Basically, it is not needed to identify each and every control when we are using index. Please remember this point. When we are using this index identification method to identify a controls which almost looks similar, which almost contains the same properties, it is not needed to identify each and every one. You can identify only one, and based upon your situation, you can just change the value here in the constraint index. If you want to click on the second one, you can give second. Okay, if you want to click on third, you can give 3. If you want to click on fifth add to cart, you can give, means whatever the position you have given, it will go and click on that particular add to cart. Again, when you want to change, you can change it. This change is very small. Identifying all these things is not that required. Is it understood this kind of situation also? Because this can also be an interview question. Basically, they will ask you when you will be going to this index identification method and why you will go to index identification method. Okay, then what if the controls positions are getting changed even after using the index identification method? So then what you need to answer, now based upon the new position, I will go and change the property in the modules constraint index to the respective position, whatever it is there right now, and I will execute my test cases. So this is how basically you need to answer the question. Is it clear about this?
Yes, Madhav.
Okay. Now the next thing is we have identify by image. Actually, the probability of identifying a controls by image is very less because we are automating an application which contains often controls, not mostly the images, right? You can also identify an image with the properties itself. But let me also tell you what is this image identification method. Basically, the image identification method is the least priority and mostly it won't be used anywhere in the real-time projects. Just give me a second, please. So it won't be used in any most of the real-time projects, but you should be also aware and you should also know how do you identify any control or an image with the identify by image. Let me show you that. So what I'll be doing in order to do that is I will try to scan an application again. See now, all these days we're just trying to scan the application. That's it, we're not doing anything. That's what I told you. These modules play a crucial and most important role in automation. So you need to be thorough with these modules. So that's what I'm going very slow with these modules. So now you know all these situations, properties, anchor, index. So with this, almost your 99 to 100% of your identification will be completed. This image has almost negligible 0.0 to 0.1 probability. So for suppose basically, how can you identify an image with an identify by images? Identify by image. If I select identify by image, see the user interface how it has come. Can you see? Identify by image. It is saying the name of the application is a demo web shop, and this is the complete page where you are trying to identify the control. And in this, whatever image you want to identify, you can click on this plus icon and you can identify. So how you will do this is, for example, if I want to identify this gift card, what I'll do, I'll just click on this plus icon. After clicking on this plus icon, can you see, drag the cursor around the area used for identification. Written, use image of defined control area also for identification. Escape for cancel. If you want to cancel this, if you want to go back, you can click on this cancel, or you can click on this cross icon, or you can minimize this, or you can save this, whatever you want. You can see here, save the image whatever you have identified, right? You can minimize this and you can close this or cancel this, or you can also use the escape button. How do you identify an image now? Can you see here? For example, if I want to identify this gift card, can you see, I am just drawing the area where exactly the gift card image is present. So I'm just saying this is the place where exactly. Now can you see, when you want to consider the images, the image identification will take a longer time. So I'm just clicking on this access key. So because now it is working properly, now what I'll do, can you see, I'll just, how can you see, this is the application and this is the complete page. And in that you have identified one image which is called as a gift card. And what are the properties basically that it is containing? See, screen resolution means at which width and at which height you have identified this control. Means for this application, we will be having x coordinates, y coordinates, width and height coordinates, right? While they develop the application, now it is identifying based upon these coordinates. You can see here, at which screen resolution, which width height it is there, and what is the accuracy, and what is offset means x coordinates and y coordinates means it is present. I mean this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. The vertical is the y coordinate, horizontal is the x coordinate, and we'll try to identify that. And we'll try to create a module basically for this, right? Like this you can do, but what happens is it becomes very difficult. No controls were selected. Can you see what happens is even after you select this images with this image identification method, it won't be selected properly. So that is what they have come up with an normal feature is instead of we spending time on this image identification method, and that too which is not unique and the least priority, so we can use this properties itself in order to identify this. So how do we use properties in order to identify these images? Is simple thing. Let's go to identify by properties. For example, I want to identify these images. Select on screen. I'm just selecting on screen. This is an image, right? Can you see here? This is an image. So I just selected that. This is an image. I just selected. This is an image. I just selected. So now I have selected 3 images and I am disabling my select on screen. Now see here. Now previously whatever the image you have selected, it is completely going and sitting on this. See here, image identification method. When you see this image symbol, it is showing that image identification method. But now what we are seeing exactly, we are seeing something called by properties itself. I just identified with properties. You can see the representation. See, even if you use image identification method, you are getting this image icon. Even if you use the properties, you are getting the same thing, right? And you can see these 3 different images which I have scanned, and you are also getting the name for them clearly. See, this is the details for virtual gift card. Now these are not unique. So how to make it unique? First I'll use the properties. So basically when you are trying to identify the images, each and every image will have one property called ALT, alternative name. So alternative name for this particular control is picture of $25 virtual gift card. Means you are trying to say to Tosca, this is an image which is restricted or which is confined to this picture of $25 virtual gift card. So if I click this, it will become unique. And see this 14-point laptop. This is the alternative name of this particular image. Picture of 14.1-inch laptop. You will identify this. Right now, you do not have any class name ID, inner text and outer text. But in real time, you can also see these controls also. It depends upon the application, how the developers will be developing. Now I can also do this for the last thing. Now see how easy it has become to you now in order to identify the images with the properties itself, right? There is no need of going to this image identification method, which is of low success rate, and that too your controls will not be identified clearly, because sometimes what happens is today the image might be smaller, tomorrow the image might be changed to some other image, and it might be increasing its position. So what will happen, guys? The width, x coordinates, y coordinates, resolution, everything will change. Will it work? So simply there are many loopholes there. So instead of going to that position, simply we can use the properties. Until and unless the properties change, your even if your image is getting changed, and if the properties are not getting changed, your test cases, I mean your control will be stable and it will be working. So this is how basically we will identify this index identification method, I mean image identification method. Now see how it will be looking like after we create a module. I'm just clicking on save, and automatically a module has been created. Now I'm just closing this XScan window. Now what has happened, now a module has been created successfully. And as I told you, as best practice, whenever you create a module, identify by image, I mean identify image with properties. So I have identified. Now can you see these are the 3 different images, and what are the properties? Looks like normal ALT name and the tag which you have used. So this is like a normal properties only. Now, can you see how many controls are there in an application? Right? How many controls? Can you see? These are the links actually. Means which you can click on them. Register, login, shopping cart, and wish list are the ones which you know which you need to be click. See the representation. Please remember this. What are the different kind of controls also they might ask. They can also ask how many identification methods. In addition to that, they can also ask you what are the different kind of controls. One is link. This is a symbol for link. One is a text box, means which is the one you can enter some value. This is a text box. A symbol, small a. OK button is this is for a button if you want to click, right? And you have seen many things again. See, these are again completely everything is a link. Now these are all the buttons. These are images. Now what you have seen basically images, buttons, text boxes, links. In a similar way, you will have check boxes and radio buttons. That's it. Only these are the different kind of controls which are present, which will be present in application. See, whatever the application it might be, you will have a link to click. You will have a text box to enter some value. You will have a button to submit that. You will have some images to verify. You will have some checkboxes to select multiple things. Or else you will have some radio buttons. Other than this, any application will contain any new control. No. So only these are the different controls which are present in the application. So is it clear for everyone, guys?
Yes, Madhav.
Yeah, Madhav.
Any doubts in this, guys, to anyone?
No, Madhav.
Okay. Okay, super. Sir. So it's a good thing if there are no doubts actually. Any doubts to anyone? How many participants we have today? Almost 16 people we have in the today's class. And no problem if you have any doubt, really you can ask me here straight away. Because instead of waiting, okay, let me stop the recording first of all. If this is understood for everyone. So I'm just stopping the recording now.